All right, welcome back to the Great Rubino. We have not done a football interview since Nate Ebner's past summer, but we are lucky enough today to have Michael Dunn, who is an offensive lineman for the Cleveland Browns, on with us today. It's right after the season for the Browns, unfortunately. Michael, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I mean, we were just talking about it before. Obviously, pretty disappointing to be starting the off season so early, but I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah, you got no more ice baths. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Staying out of the training room for a while.
Good. Well, let's start back sort of like at Maryland, your college days. You grew up in Bethesda. I imagine that playing and being a Terp was the dream. Is that true? And if so, how did that lead to playing at Maryland?
Well, it's actually kind of a funny story because it really was not my dream at all. I actually never really dreamt at all about like playing college football like that because I just didn't think it was actually ever going to happen. You know, just a Jewish kid growing up in Bethesda, Maryland. I was never anticipating, a Big Ten, a Power 5 program, or even NFL. That didn't never cross my mind. So I was like playing high school ball at Whitman High School, a public school in Bethesda. And really, I was just playing it, with, my friends were on the team. We're all having fun. They're a great group of guys. And like I was on JV my first couple of years. I didn't even see the field my junior year. And then my senior year, I finally played. So obviously, you're not going to get recruited by any schools at all when you're only playing as a senior in high school. So luckily, I had some good tape my senior year. I was recruited by a couple D3 schools, a couple FCS schools, and then Maryland reached out about a preferred walk-on opportunity. And obviously that's when I was being a local kid from the area, having a chance to go to Maryland, which was a school I always wanted to go to. I really kind of wanted to go to a big school. So it kind of just worked out with a walk-on opportunity and being close to home by going to Maryland.
Now you wear the Terp jersey proudly, right?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, I mean, more than likely, if you just see me walking around, I'll have like a red Maryland shirt on or something like that.
Love it. So your story is really a bit like you've already stated. You are one who sort of seems like, and maybe I'm pegging you wrong, but if I follow your career, who takes whatever opportunity they're given and makes the most of it. So you went undrafted out of college, but you caught on with the Rams during the summer. What was that experience like, and what was the biggest lesson you learned from getting a taste of the NFL but not quite making it?
Yeah, so it was difficult. My senior year in college, I ended up going on to start like 48 games at Maryland. So I had a really long career there, and like I stayed healthy the entire time. And then all of a sudden, my senior year, like in one of our last games, I ended up dislocating my shoulder and tearing my labrum, and it created an off season of, instead of combine and pro day and preparing for the draft, it was just recovering from surgery. So that entire process, while other guys were kind of like learning what they're about to get into and what how to become a professional and all that, I had none of that. I was just dealing with, okay, once I get healthy, I'll get on the team and everything's good. So obviously, doing all my rehab, come to the draft, I don't get picked up anywhere. I'm technically medically rejected from what I'm told. So I have to wait till I'm cleared. I knew the Rams always liked me. So when I finally was cleared, I went to the Rams. But at that point, I missed all of OTAs. I missed, all rookie mini camp, regular mini camp. And I'm basically showing up to the Rams for training camp. And, no previous experience with anything. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into while still kind of dealing with a bum shoulder. It was more of it was an awesome opportunity. And I'm always so thankful for the Rams for giving me that chance because no one else did. But you definitely knew that, okay, this is not college anymore. And I felt like that first taste of that first training camp, which I did okay overall, but obviously nothing to the point that would, have me stick around. It kind of showed me, okay, you know what, if I really want to make it in the NFL, what I was doing that, like, I need to change my approach to everything and, try fixing issues that, I knew I had going into that opportunity. So luckily that was not my last opportunity I got, and I was able to redeem myself a little bit in future instances, but it was just very eye-opening experience to me.
I imagine in practice, it's a little different blocking in the Big Ten than it is every down looking at Aaron Donald across the way.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's just nuts kind of going into an NFL locker room for your first time ever and kind of just looking around and seeing all these names and faces that you've seen on TV for so long. But then you quickly realize that you got to forget about that and try your hardest to make a team.
He will go down as one. I don't even love watching defense that much, but I will watch the Rams play defense because he's going to go down as one of the greatest. It's just
it's amazing.
So then you had opportunities in the AAF and the XFL, two leagues that both showed promise, and people were, I don't remember anyone ever being this excited about, and both of them, about non-NFL football. But the first one folded, unfortunately, for a variety of reasons, but the talent and the excitement was certainly there. And the XFL ran into COVID and couldn't sell. So what were those experiences like? How did those differ, and what did you gain from that experience?
Yeah, so those both experiences were huge in my career. Like, they gave me the opportunity to continue playing when everything looked done. And they're actually both very similar to each other. The AAF was, that was the first one I did, and that was pretty cool. I ended up playing in Birmingham, Alabama, which I never thought in my life I'd be stepping foot in the state of Alabama, but I turned out to really enjoy the city. It was during a really difficult time when, I really did kind of feel like my football career was over, and I didn't really have an idea of how this AAF league is going to go. Just like the AAF and the XFL, I kind of looked at it as, from my playing experience, was I'm strictly doing this to get to the NFL. Like, I never wanted to be, like, I didn't care when the AAF folded. It sucked. Like, I didn't want that to happen, but in my head, I was not going to be like, oh, dang, I'm missing out on season 2 of the AAF. Like, I knew that this is all I'm doing. Like, I'm going back to the NFL, and I'm not doing the AAF again. Same with the XFL. Obviously COVID prevented it, but when it folded, I never thought to myself, shoot, like, I got to go back to the Seattle Dragons next season. Like, no, I knew it was a one-time thing, get back to the NFL and be done with it. And so it was a little different perspective from, like, trying to watch it from the fan perspective and, building an audience, because at the end of the day, I didn't really care what the audience was, or even really about the money much. It was, I just knew my one goal of doing it was to get back to the NFL. And I was able to accomplish that task through both leagues. So I'm forever grateful for both those leagues. But it was just a little different perspective from how I was viewing those leagues than, most other people were.
Yeah, I think it seemed like a lot of guys, some of those guys are in the same position, right? The goal is the NFL for a variety of reasons, but they gave you these great platforms which don't exist. I mean, there is no minor league baseball, there's no G League, there's no NFL, and from all the players I've talked to, it's like, this is the goal. And the other option for the most part is like no football, which they don't want either. Speaking of football, this year, finally, you are not only a part of the team, you're an important part of the team. You're on the Browns. We spoke a little bit about it in jest, but it's true. A difficult season for the Browns. but have a really exciting quarterback that it seems like a great leader on the field, especially for his offensive line. It seems like someone who loves the team. What was your experience with the Browns this year? Finally being in the NFL, reaching your goal, and can the Browns turn it around next season?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a great opportunity to turn it around. Obviously, this was a disappointing season, but I mean, just last year, making it to the divisional round of the playoffs after winning the first Browns playoff game in 20 something years. Where I mean, I really feel like we have the roster and coaching staff to do it. And I mean, you just look around in the locker room and you're like, wow, like we do have a good team. So I mean, I'm sure there'll be plenty of off-season moves and everything like that. The draft obviously coming up, and I mean, we have the in my opinion, the best front office in the NFL. Where I think that whatever failures we had this season, we'll have a good opportunity to turn it around next year and come out strong.
Yeah, run game was good. And one thing I love about this Browns team, especially over the last, let's say, 5 years, which historically maybe not super true about the Browns, but they are trying. And a lot of NFL teams sort of sit back or they trade all this draft capital. I'm in Chicago, so I know all about that. But like the Browns are really trying. They are going after, even a few years ago, even though Beckham left, but Landry in the same season, they have good running backs. Got the right, the quarterback that made sense for the team, building the offensive line, defense, obvious. I mean, look, when healthy, looks good, and the pieces are there for sure. Let's talk about your Jewish life a little bit. Growing up in Bethesda, you weren't the only Jew in the area, I'm assuming. So what was your Jewish home like? And, was it, what were some maybe favorite holiday or meaningful moments for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. From kindergarten till high school or 8th grade, I attended Charles E. Smith Jewish Day School in Rockville. So I spent my entire childhood basically going to Jewish Day School and, really being involved with, the community and everything like that. We'd go to Israel, what felt like, every other summer. We had a lot of family there. My mom's from there. So we'd always go back, especially as a kid. So no, it was an awesome time growing up, and it was nice, being able to attend JDS and, like you said, in Bethesda, being around so many other Jewish people that really kind of made you feel connected. Like it's always kind of funny when you're going around to different teams and states and cities, and especially meeting guys in the NFL who've never met a Jewish person before. I'm like, oh my God, like didn't know you guys existed. So I mean, it's so it's definitely kind of cool growing up around it, and having plenty of other people around me who were the same religion and experiences.
And the Browns have had in recent history actually a decent amount of Jewish players. Greg Joseph is now on the Vikings.
Yeah, the kicker.
Yeah, and Mitchell Schwartz, obviously.
Yeah, Mitchell Schwartz.
If you can have the career Mitchell Schwartz had, you're in good company.
We all hope. We all hope.
Well, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for coming on the website, the podcast, whatever this ends up being. And it's great to hear your story. And I think there's a lot of people you should know that every other year or so I produce like who are the 5 Jewish athletes to look forward to going forward. Now that Edelman's retired and you're on that list. So that's a good list to be on. So the community is excited. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.